Hello there, the topic which we're going to discuss today has been in the popular demand for a long time. Everyone from the trading world who is new, who's experienced, wants to learn and understand this concept, and I'm talking about the concept of technical analysis. So today we are trying to explain the concept of technical analysis in a simple, crisp, precise way and from the grassroots level itself. So brace yourself for this ride for next 15 to 20 minutes. So hi there, my name is Hitesh and I welcome you all to YouTube channel of Trade Brains. If you're new to our channel, please comment, like and subscribe, and please don't forget to press the bell notification icon. So let's jump into our discussion. I'll be using my laptop for discussion, so brace yourself for the ride. So the topic which we are discussing today, it's called technical analysis for beginners. Don't go by the name beginners. There's enough information for everyone, be it experienced trader, be it a newbie in the market. So let's start our discussion. So why do traders lose money even if they have the perfect knowledge skill? Why does it happen that they always lose the money? And what is it in the world of trading that stops them from achieving? They have everything which they need for the trading purpose, but what is it that stops them from achieving what they want to achieve? And what is the differentiating point which differentiates a successful trader from a not so successful trader? So let us try to crack it down and understand that how is technical analysis useful in making yourself a successful trader and actually have a long and fruitful career. Now, before jumping into real discussion, let us understand one more scenario. Imagine you have all the equipment of a cricket. You have a bat, ball, gloves, everything which is used by a top-notch player like a Virat Kohli. But would you still be playing like Virat Kohli? Obviously not, because he has fine-tuned himself to skills, he has practiced hard enough, and similarly applies to the world of technical analysis. Just having the right tools, system, equipments doesn't make you a perfect trader. It's only when you apply the skills, knowledge, have the patience to grind it out, is when you become a successful trader. One shot wonder is what we are not looking in the world of trading. We are looking for traders who are consistent over time. I would rather have a trader who makes 1,000 rupees every day than having a trader who makes 10,000 one day, loses 7,000 another day, because there is no consistency. Consistency is the key to trading world, and with the help of technical analysis, we aim to achieve that. So in this chapter of technical analysis, we'll be trying to understand what is technical analysis, what are the various tools, candlestick, patterns, indicators which can be used. So let's define technical analysis. So technical analysis is an amalgamation of these four important factors. I call them the four basic ingredients of trading. That are tools, candlestick patterns, chart patterns and indicators. If you understand these four factors, it will help you in making a right and perfect decision while taking a trade. So let us learn each and every one of these concepts in detail and understand what exactly is technical analysis. So the first thing which we'll be learning is what are technical tools and what are its various uses. So technical analysis is used to understand the existing market trend. Now what do I mean by market trend? When I say trend, means whether the market is going up or whether it's coming down continuously or is it stuck in a right range. With the help of technical tools, you can actually form an informed judgment as to what is market trying to do. What is the momentum in the market? Is it a bullish momentum? Is it a bearish momentum? Or is it a sideways momentum? With the help of technical tools, we can understand that this is what the current trend in the market is. It helps us in understanding as to what is the right point of entry or exit from the market. Now this is the most important thing while using a technical tools or any form of analysis. If you know when to enter a market and if you also know when to exit from the market, it helps you in making a right decision. If you can get that decision right, it will help you in actually avoiding the trades which you shouldn't take, and it will also improve your chances of being right on the trade. So technical analysis helps us in understanding the point of entry and point of exit from the market. It also helps us in understanding the trigger points. Now what are trigger points? Trigger points are those zones which helps us in understanding that whether I should be entering the market right now or I should be staying out of the market. You shouldn't be entering the market at each and every time. Each and every time is not the right time to enter. But with the help of technical tools, you can actually time your entry in the market, and which is the most important thing. There is always a saying in the world of cricket also, timing is everything. Power always doesn't guarantee results. It's the timing which helps you in getting the right results. And the most important use of technical tools is that technical tool alone can't give you results, but if it's used with other indicators or various technical charting patterns, it will actually provide a perfect results, because it's an amalgamation of all these 3 to 4 factors which makes the technical analysis a very potent and powerful tool. Now what are the most important technical tools which are available for traders? So first is the Trendline tool, the second is the trend zone, the third is the supports and resistances, and the fourth are patterns. I'll be explaining about each and everything in detail. So the first concept which I'll be understanding in these tools are the concept of supports and resistances. What are supports and resistances? I'll be breaking down each and every one of them. Now if you look at this chart first, this is a chart of Reliance Industries. You see I have marked a green line, and you also see I have marked a dotted line on top of it. Now these are simply the point of supports and resistances. To put you in brief, supports and resistances are the zone of demand and supply. When the market comes near the level of support, there is bound to be certain level of demand, and if you are already holding a short position, you would want to exit there. Similarly, at the zone of resistance, you're bound to get a lot of supply, and if you are a holder of long positions, you would look at those points as a point of exit from the market. So this is a simple chart which tells you what are the points where you've seen market getting supported and also see market getting resisted in the market, and the zone in between the support and resistance becomes your trading zone. That is a point where the market is trying to spend a lot of time. So that is the concept of trading zone. Let us understand the concept of support a little more in detail. So what exactly are supports and what are its characteristics? So supports are those levels which puts a pause on decline. Now it doesn't mean that the market will stop and immediately make a U-turn from there, but in general supports are formed when there's a lot of price action around those levels. Price action means there's a lot of buying, selling, there's a lot of people aggressively hitting the market and buying in the market, there are a lot of aggressive sellers in the market. So with a lot of volume, a lot of time spent, it becomes a zone of support, and which is where you're expecting market to take a pause. These are also the levels of demand in the market. If I'm looking to buy in the market, I wouldn't just go randomly hit the market. I would wait for the market to come to a level of support, see the price action around it, and that's when I enter in the market. So which is where these levels become a zone of demand in the market, and most likely supplies got to be exhausted at these levels. Now these are also referred as the points where sellers exit their existing positions. If you are a holder of shorts in the market, your first level of target always becomes the first level of support in the market. As and when the market comes there, you see what is the event which is happening in the market, how is the buying selling in the market, and if you see that selling pressure is getting exhausted, is when you also exit your short positions and you just book your profit. And if the levels of supports are broken in the market, which means the selling pressure is likely to continue in the market, and we could easily be testing a next level of support in the market. So the market always doesn't have one level of support, there are multiple levels of supports. As and when a support is being held, which means the market will make a recovery on the upside. But if the support is not held, you can be rest assured that the next level of support is likely to be tested. Now there are basically two kinds of supports in the market. One is a trend line, and one is also called the trend zone also, or trend channel also. So let us understand the concept of trend line. So trend line are those levels in the market at which market continuously keeps coming and getting supported and keeps going up in the market. Now if you look at this chart, so in case of a trend line, the market is trending upside, but as and when the market is touching the trend line level, it's getting a bounce from there. If you see on this chart, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points at which the market touched the trend line and eventually made a move back up. Now this is a classical and a simple charting pattern. A simple knowledge of trend line plotting can help you get beautiful trades in the market, and you get a lot of money and a lot of profit out of it. So that is the power of trend line. Similarly, if you look at this chart, now this is actually a combination of trend line and also a channel in the market. The trend line, as you see, is coming from top to bottom, and the market is getting touched there, and you see market getting supported. But what is the zone, or what is the channel here? The channel here is the points which are marking on the screen. So these are the points beyond which the market is struggling to go beyond it. It goes there and comes back down to a level of trend line. So this is forming a zone. Once the zone is broken on either side, we are likely to see a substantial move. So for now, the trend line is acting as support, but once the zone becomes strong, it is possible that the support will be breached and will be touching the next level of support in the market. Now, what are resistances and what are its important characteristics? Now we have understood that the level of support provides a zone of demand in the market, and this is a place where the supply gets exhausted. Resistances are exactly opposite of it. So resistance are those levels which act as a barrier of ascent in the market. The market is an upward momentum, but once the market reaches a zone of resistance is when we could see that the market is getting exhausted, and we could see selling pressure coming in the market and the buying pressure getting reduced from the market. Now these are also the level of supply. What I mean by supply is that point at which fresh selling enters the market, and if you're a holder of long position, you would want to exit your positions, which is where you sell in the market. And resistance are also referred to to as a point where buyers exit from the market. Basically, if you're a holder of a long position in the market, if the market reaches the point of resistance is where you want to book your profits. So these are also referred to as zone of exit for the buyers in the market. And if the level of resistance, just like suppose, are broken, then we are likely to see next level resistance being tested in the market. If supposedly two levels of resistance are there, the market is testing here. If it breaks this, we could easily be testing this zone of resistance in the market. So that is the simple theory of supports and resistances. If we understood these, we can understand that when to enter, when not to enter, why should we look around what is happening around at support and resistances. Just because a support has come, just don't enter in the market, wait for price action around it at both the levels. And if you see, okay, support is being held and we could see upward movement, is when you enter. Similarly, resistance is being held and we could see supply coming in, is when you enter a short position in the market. Now this is again the chart for resistances. If you look on the top of the chart, we have drawn a black line, and which is showing that the market has gone there 4 to 5 times. It just couldn't breach it. It breached momentarily for some time but couldn't settle above it. And when the buying got exhausted, we saw more selling pressure coming in the market, and even the stop losses of buyers got exhausted. Now if you were to enter longs here, what will be the point of exhaustion, or what will the point of stop loss? It will be below the zone of 1700 to 1650. If once the market breached that level here, we saw a massive sell-off in the market, and which is where the market gave a return of nearly 50 to 60% of short positions. So you need to be patient, watch out for the trigger points. Once the trigger point is confirmed, go in the market, bam, and you can make a decent return out of it. Now this is again a trend line resistance which is coming from top to bottom. If you look at the chart here, the market has gone there 4 to 5 times, got rejected every time there. So as in when the market goes to this trend line, we see selling pressure coming in and we see a boom rally in the market on the downside. So a simple trend line plotting along with the understanding of support and resistances can give you very good results and very simple profit in the market. So these are the use of tools in the market. So we have covered the first phenomenon of tools in the market. Now we'll be understanding the second concept. This is the concept of candlesticks. I know it is a zone of excitement. Everyone wants to understand candlesticks. What is candlesticks? And understandably so, that this is one of those kind of technical, I would say, a technical block which will help you in understanding that how do you trade in a day-to-day basis. So what are candlesticks? Candlesticks are most common and the most interacting form of charting tools. You have other form of charting tools like the bar chart, line chart and candlestick chart, but the amount of information which you get and the visual appeal which candlestick provides, there is no other charting tool which provides that. Now it is shaped like a candle, that's how it got the name candlesticks, and it gives you information about the 4 most important factors, that is the OHLC, open, high, low and close. It provides you information about the most 4 crucial element of day trading, that is open, high, low and close. Now it can be plotted in a various time frames like a minutes, 2 hours to 4 hours, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly chart. Depending on what you're trying to achieve out of a trade and what's the view on the trade, you can plot the candlestick chart as and how you like it. Now if you look at this picture, I see a green candle, which means green candle generally signifies bullish momentum and red candle generally signifies bearish momentum. So this is a green candle. The bottom of the body, that is the main body of the green candle, is called the open. The low of the wick is called the low of the candle, which is the lowest price which traded for the day. The close is that price at which the market closed for the day or within that time zone, and high for the market is the highest level achieved within that time frame. So these are the 4 information which is provided by a candlesticks. Now what are the most important components of a bullish candlesticks or a bearish candlestick? So the 4 important components, as I told you, are open, high, low and close. So open tells you information about at the price at which the market opened. For a green candle, the open is always below the close, which is basically the point at which the market started. And for a red candle, the open is always above the close, which is where the market started but came down eventually at close. Close is the closing price of the candlestick within that time frame. It is below the open for a red candle and it is above the green for a green candle. High is the maximum price which was achieved within that time frame. It doesn't doesn't matter if it's a green candle, red candle, the high is the same for both of them. And similarly, low is the lowest point which was achieved during that time frame. So these are the 4 important components or information which are provided by candlesticks. Now I'll be explaining to you about the most simple and the common candlestick patterns. I'm not going deep down in detail and explain to you very complex candlestick patterns. We'll start by understanding the 3 to 4 most common candlestick patterns. So the first one and my favorite one, it's called the Marabozu candlestick pattern. Now what happens in Marabozu candlestick pattern? In this candlestick pattern, there is no wick on either side. Basically, there is only body, there is no wick on the upside or downside. There's a complete body is the open and close for the day. That is the information provided by the Marabozu. Depending on what color the candle is, it gives you a very strong trend indicator in the market. Now, if you have a green or a bullish Marabozu, then in that case, the open of the candle is also the lowest price for the day, and the close of the candle is also the highest point of the day. So that is the information provided by the Marabozu, which means the buying momentum was so high, the market opened and we could see bam buying in the market, and the buying kept continuing till the close of the day, so which means the high of the candle became the closing price for the day. Similarly, for a red or a bearish Marabozu candle, the open for the day is the high for the day and the close for the day is the low for the day. Similarly, here also the selling pressure is so high that as and when the market opened, we couldn't just go above it, we just crashed bam from there, and the selling pressure kept continuing till the market closed and the closing price became the low for the day. So that is the simple information provided by the Marabozu. Now how do I trade it? If you see Marabozu pattern formation in the market, and supposedly if it's a bullish Marabozu pattern, if you're short in the market, be very cautious because we could be seeing a trend reversal in the market. And if you're long in the market, keep riding the gain because this is a very strong pattern and you could be getting next level resistances being tested in the market very easily. And similarly, for a red or a bearish Marabozu candle, the selling pressure is very high. If you're holders of long, become very cautious. And if you are a short in the market, you're short in the options position, could be shorts in the futures market, hold on to your selling position because we could be testing easily next level support in the market. The next pattern which I'm talking about is a Doji. Now this is the most epic and this is the most talked about pattern. This pattern is the most influence in the market. Now if you see, I've drawn 5 kind of Doji candles on the screen. Now the first one is that candle in which the body is not very big, it's a medium sized body. We saw tussle between buyers and seller and the market eventually closed in between, which means this is not a very decisive form of candle, which means there is not much information about what could be the likelihood or what is the next event which could happen in the market. And to define Doji is that candlestick in which the close and open are very close to each other. They are practically same levels. The market goes up, can't sustain there, comes down, can't sustain there, eventually closes at the price at which the market opened. The second candle, which is the biggest candle on the screen, it has a lot of price action. These candles are the most dangerous ones. The Doji candle is formed, but there's a lot of price action, a lot of buying or selling happening in the market. So the next day open of the candle becomes a very important thing. If the market opens above the close of the Doji candle and starts trading at that zone, which means you could be seeing bullish momentum coming in the market. And similarly, if the market trades below that zone, we could be seeing selling pressure coming in the market. The third candle, which is the middle candle, is a very bullish form of Doji candle. Why so? The market opened at top and started going down. We saw a lot of selling pressure coming in the market. The sellers were having a lot of say in the market. The market came down quite a bit, but the pressure couldn't sustain there and we saw buying momentum coming in the market. The sellers also got stopped out and eventually the market closed near the open, which means what happened? The whole wick of the candle became the price action zone. The market couldn't sustain there and eventually closed at the highs, which means all the sellers are still trapped in the market and we're seeing fresh long positions. And if the market manages to open above the close of this Doji candle, bam, there's a bullish momentum coming in the market. There's no place for sellers in the market. Similarly, in the fourth candle, it's an exact opposite of third candle. This is a very bearish formation. The market opens low, goes up, there's a green candle, can't sustain there, selling pressure comes in, closes at the low, which means what? The sellers are having more say and the buyers are getting trapped. If the open again is below that level, there's selling pressure, buyers just get out of the market. And the fifth candle is kind of very docile candle. There's a very small price action, very small movement for the day. It's a no trade zone. Don't enter into this trap because this will keep giving you small losses for the day and eventually you have a decent amount of losses. Don't trade these kind of candles because these candles have price action at around that zone, but there is not much trading opportunity which comes from there. The next candlestick pattern which I'm going to talk about is a hammer candlestick pattern. This is one of my personal favorite also. Why so? Because I'm personally a bullish trader. I like to buy my things, and this is a technical indicator which gives buying momentum in the market, or at least signals a pause on the fall, and we could be seeing a reversal. Now the prior trend here is important. If you see 5 to 6 candles before that, we see continuous selling pressure coming in the market. We see more red candles than green candles, and the market is making low on daily basis. And in this candle also, the market opens below the previous day close, makes a new low, but eventually can't sustain there and forms a green candle, which means the close of the candle is above the open of the candle, and we could be seeing buying momentum coming in the market, and which is where the selling gets exhausted, and the next day if the market opens in green, we could be seeing a fresh trend or a fresh bullish trend coming in the market. And the last candlestick which I'm going to talk about is an exact opposite of hammer pattern. It's also called the shooting star pattern. Now this pattern is again a bit of bearish. It's not exactly bearish, but it could halt the upward momentum and we could be seeing downward pressure. The prior trend here again is bullish. We see new highs being made, and even on the day of formation of shooting star, we're seeing good buying momentum in the market, and the market opens and makes a new high there, but eventually can't sustain there, and we see selling pressure at the end of the day, and we see a red candle formation or near Doji formation. Now the next day open or next day candle is again very important. If the market opens below this close of the shooting star pattern, we could be seeing selling pressure coming in the market. So these are the 4 important candlestick patterns which we'll be discussing in this conversation of ours. If you get a grasp of this, you would mostly be covering most of the pattern which you see on regular basis. There are many hundreds of candlestick patterns which are very complex and which are very rare to spot. But if you get these 4 candlestick patterns right, it will actually set your base right, and you can move on to the next level of understanding candlestick patterns. Now, how do you apply the technical indicators? Now we have understood so far what tools, understood the patterns, and also understood the candlestick pattern. The 4th important thing is the technical indicators. Now technical indicators are those tools which have been used for a passage of time and which have been perfected by traders by being used on regular basis. Now I'm not going to give a theoretical presentation on indicators. I'm just going to show you the application of 2 most simple technical indicator in the market on the chart. I'll be showing you 2 different examples, and we'll try to understand where do we spot trading opportunities and do these indicators actually work in the real world. So indicators which we'll be talking about are the Bollinger Bands and RSI. RSI is relative strength indicator. It's a momentum oscillator. It tells you about what is the ongoing trend in the market, and it also tells you information about whether the market is overbought or oversold, but in general it's more of a momentum indicator. And Bollinger Bands is actually more of a standard deviation. It tells you what is the deviation of price from the mean, and it also tells you a bit about the trend in the market. So we are trying to understand the trend and also understand whether the market is overbought or oversold using these indicators. So let's not waste time and straight away apply these indicators on the chart. Now if you look at my screen, this is the chart of Kotak Mahindra Bank. Now it tells you that it's the chart which is live right now, and I have just used this chart randomly and I applied those indicators. On the upper part of the chart where you see these 3 lines, the green line, black line, the red line, that's a Bollinger Band, and the lower part we've applied the RSI indicator. Now just to give you a brief intro about RSI, the theoretical knowledge says if it's trading above the zone of 80, it's said to be trading in the overbought zone and we could be seeing reversal. And similarly, if it is trading around the 20 level, we can see that there is a support in the market and the market is oversold, we could be seeing a reversal in the market. Similarly, the Bollinger Bands tells you basically what is the range and what looks like the most apt range within which the market should be trading, and if the market is trading above the upper band, it could be said as the market is overbought. And similarly, if the market is trading near the lower band or below the lower band, we could be saying that the market is oversold. I'm not going to explain to you what exactly are the technical aspects of it, but I'll tell you how do you apply these indicators. These are basically trend indicators and momentum oscillators, and let us try and understand if we can use these 2 indicators together in our trading knowledge. So in our first example, I applied these 2 indicators on the chart of Kotak Mahindra Bank. It is a live chart which has been recorded on the 2nd of July. So if you look at this screen right now this is the daily chart of Kotak Mahindra Bank, and if you see these indicators being applied here, Now if you just look at the Bollinger Band, and we'll try to see what is the relevance of it with the RSI. As in when the market goes near the upper band, we see selling pressure coming in the market, and as in when the market goes near the lower band, we see more of a buying pressure coming in the market. But the middle line here is the most important line. If the market is trading above the middle line, we could easily say that in general or in overall there is more of a bullish momentum in the market. And if the market is trading below the middle line of the 2 sigma band, if you see that if the market is trading below it, we can see there's selling pressure, and if the market is trading above it, we can say buying pressure coming in the market. So that is a general understanding of Bollinger Band. Similarly for the RSI indicator at the bottom of the screen, as you see that if the market was trading around the 80 level, we see more of an exhaustion in the market and selling pressure. RSI is a leading indicator. Basically it tells you in advance that what could be the likely move in the market. So if you see here also, the RSI indicator turned before the market actually turned this side. So RSI indicator in general gives you a leading indicator about what could be the likely move in the market. Again, if you go at the zone of RSI here, the market is trading around below the 20 levels and makes a move up, as when we see upward momentum in the market also. Similarly, if you go more on the left hand side of the screen, the market was in a buying momentum, and when the market turned from here around 75 levels, came down, we saw selling pressure coming in the market. Now if you look at this chart here, the market was on an upswing here for quite some time, and we saw even the RSI also giving indication of upward strength. But when we saw a big red candle formation in the market, that is the time we also saw RSI trending downside. Which means, what do we understand by this? That both the indicators are saying that the market is getting exhausted and we could be seeing selling pressure. And to help it out, even we saw a bearish candlestick formation in the market. So candlestick formation along with these indicators gave you a decent understanding as to what could be the likely or anticipated move in the market. And if you had caught this move on the right hand side, you would easily got a return of 15 to 18% on your trade. So these two indicators together give you few trade signals, but if they give you right trade signals, you can get a lot of gain out of it. Let us search for more trading opportunities, because I am also searching opportunities as and when I'm making video with you. So if you look at this momentum, okay, again here if you see that market went around the level of 80 here, we saw the RSI indicator turning towards down from 80 to below the 80 levels, and again we see a red candle formation in the market. It's a trade which didn't give you massive returns, but still gave you a trade of 6 to 7% return on the investment which you made on the trade. If you go more towards the left hand side of the screen here, again you see selling pressure coming in the market, and you get a lot of opportunities to be seen in the market. Now again I'll shift my attention to the next chart, and I'll be talking about the chart of Reliance Industries. Now this is again the live chart of Reliance Industries, and I applied both the indicators simultaneously. Now let us try and spot the opportunities of trade in the market. Now if you see the screen, now this is the most prompt or obvious trade which you saw on the screen. This one trade is enough to explain to you. Now if you look at the screen, the prior trend I'll zoom in a bit more to explain you. Yeah, if you look at the screen right now, the prior trend here is a bearish momentum in the market. The market has fallen from the levels of 1500 and it fell all the way to the levels of around 850 now, which is a fall of nearly 40% in the trade. But this is the point at which the RSI comes near the level of support. It doesn't mean that once the RSI came, they just buy it off. RSI came, they spent time, and when RSI moved up again, and even when the candlestick formation was slightly bullish one, you just take a long there and you put a stop loss below the low for that time, and look at the trade return which you got. It gave you a nearly return of against 50 to 60%, 70% on the trade. So wait for the opportunity, spot it on the chart, and once you spot it, don't miss it, just go full Monty into it. It will give you a few trade opportunities, but it will give you very good trade opportunities. Now to add as a bonus thing, I'll tell you how does one can use RSI to understand the overall trend in the market. Now I'll be removing the chart of Bollinger Bands from the screen and give you understanding of how do I just use the RSI. And I also will tweak the modification. RSI is normally 14 period. I will say if I'm a long-term investor in the market, I want to understand what's a long-term momentum. So I'll just use the time frame of 200 period and apply it on the chart. Now this is very important for us to understand that the level of 50 here is the most important level. If the RSI is trading below 50, you can easily be assured that the market is in a bearish momentum. And if the RSI is trading above 50, we can understand that the market is in bullish momentum. Let us zoom out and understand what are the likely trends in the market. So if you look at this RSI scale here, the market is in an upward swing and the RSI is trading above the level of 50 here. and as and when the RSI is trading below the level of 50, say 49, 48, or even a little lower side, you can understand that the market is in a bearish momentum. So it helps you in understanding the overall trend in the market. If the market is trading above 50 levels in the RSI scale, you can say there is a more of a buying momentum in the market, and vice versa if it's trading below the level of 50. So that is it from us in this discussion of ours. I hope you got a decent understanding of the concept of technical analysis. If you have any more doubts, queries, put everything in the comment section. I'll be more than glad to answer it. And just to recap of what we learned, we understood what is technical analysis, what is technical tools, what are technical indicators, what are charting patterns, how do I use indicators together, and how can RSI help you understand the overall momentum in the market. I again thank you for patient hearing. I'll again see you in the next video of financial education. Thank you so much.